Should you book your cruise direct or through a travel agent? Before you book your next cruise, you should know something. The cruise line has already built a 10 to 17% commission into your fare. It's there whether you use a travel advisor or not. If you book direct, the cruise line keeps it. You don't save money by skipping the advisor, you just forfeit the service that you paid for.
We've taken over 40 cruises and we've spent a lot of time researching how this system actually works. The question isn't really, should I use the travel agent or book direct? It's what option is best for you.
I'm Leah, this is Doug, and we're all about the details. So let's go. We see the question, should I use a travel advisor or book direct, almost every single day. We had a viewer, JMC984, ask us to do a deep dive on this. So thanks for asking, because this is a topic that deserves the real detail.
Yeah, first thing we want to get out of the way is we're not travel agents and we're not advisors. We don't work for any cruise line. We're just here to help you get informed.
To give you the unvarnished truth on this, we didn't just rely on our own cruise history. We went behind the scenes. We interviewed professional travel advisors. We dug through cruise line hiring data. We analyzed employee feedback on Glassdoor and tracked real community forums alongside our own personal experiences.
So here's the thing, when you book a cruise, in general, you have three paths. Most people think book direct, use a travel agent, but there's a third option that is a viable choice for a specific type of cruiser.
So path one, book direct. You call the cruise line's call center or use their website. You're typically dealing with an employee of that line. Path two is an independent travel advisor or consultant, a certified agent who sells multiple cruise lines. They earn commission from the cruise line and can offer perks, onboard credit, and sometimes better pricing. Path three is a high volume travel agency. Think Costco Travel, cruises.com, VacationsToGo as an example. These are large agencies that run on volume and rebate some of their commissions back to you. So there's three paths, three different economic models. We're going to do a deep dive into each one, then talk about some other considerations that apply across all of them, and then give you our verdict on which path makes sense for what kind of traveler you are.
Yeah, so stay with us on that because the numbers do tell a story. Before we dive into each path, let's start with the numbers that change everything, 10 to 17%.
That's the commission range cruise lines pay to travel advisors. We confirmed this with our own travel advisor who's been selling cruises for years. His words, 10 to 17% is the realistic range. Anything more than that is really, really tough for an agent. Now, here's what most cruisers don't understand. The commission isn't added on top of your fare. It's already baked in. So if you book direct, what happens to that commission? The cruise line keeps it. You don't get a discount for cutting out the middleman. The price is the same. The commission just stays with the cruise line instead of going to an advisor who could have provided service for it.
Here's the honest answer. Booking direct doesn't save you money, it saves the cruise line money.
Yeah. We want to say this clearly, though. We are not anti-cruise line direct booking, not at all. We're not pro-advisor by default. We're pro-detail. And the detail that matters is this. The commission is already in your fare. The only question is whether you get service for it or possibly upper, or whether the cruise line pockets it.
Yeah, let's start with path one, booking direct with a cruise line.
When you call the cruise line, you're speaking with a call center employee. They are typically hourly wage plus incentives, and those incentives can vary widely based on the current business goals. Their job is to get you booked on the line, on that ship, at that price. They can be heavily incented to sell add-ons like travel insurance, shore excursions, and such. Many call center reps have a conversion floor, meaning they have to close 50 to 65% of the deals they quote before they start earning a small commission. It's known as a high pressure role with high turnover. That's not a criticism. They know their ships, but here's the thing. The incentive is to close the booking, get you on the ship. They're not comparing across lines for you. They're not saying, hey, for what you're looking at paying on this line, you could get a balcony on this line for less. They can't because they work for one line. Now, one of the great benefits of booking directly with a cruise line is control. You own the booking completely. You can make changes, call in, speak with a rep directly. There's no middleman. So choose booking direct if you already know exactly which ship, which sailing, and which cabin you want. You're brand loyal to one line. You have no need to compare, and you're comfortable being your own advocate if something goes wrong.
Now let's talk about path two, the independent travel advisor. This is where most of the hidden value lives. and it's also where a lot of the confusion happens.
Yeah, a travel advisor typically sells multiple cruise lines. They earn commissions from the cruise line. And as we said earlier, 10 to 17% of your commissionable fare, which usually excludes port fees and taxes. They can offer onboard credit, perks, sometimes better pricing than you can find on your own. They can help with pre and post cruise hotels, transfers, flight arrangements, and even tips on good port excursions. But, and this is important, not all advisors are created equally. So we'll get into that. But let's talk control first. When you use a travel consultant or advisor, they own the booking. There are things you can definitely do without their assistance, like making dining reservations, shore excursions, and so on. But if you want to modify or cancel the booking or change cabin categories, you'll very likely need their assistance to do so. It's also worth mentioning that an agency that has elevated status with a cruise line, we'll spend more on that in a bit, will have direct access to the cruise line, including executives, to resolve issues. This came in handy for us during a shortened port day in Australia. Our advisor was able to recoup about $200 in onboard credit as a private resolution, so it can be helpful.
And here's where it gets really interesting. There are types of pricing that you will literally never see online. Not on the cruise line website, not on Google, not on any third-party site.
So number one, group rates. Travel advisors can hold group blocks on sailings. We've done them, especially popular ones, and those group rates can be significantly lower than what you'll see published. But here's the catch. Advisors are not allowed to post these prices publicly. It's a contractual restriction with the cruise line, and they're very serious about enforcement. You have to call and ask the advisor what they have available or get on their approved email distribution list. Number two, unpublished fares. These are deeply discounted fares that some cruise lines release to select advisors, often for repositioning cruises, last-minute sailings, or cabins that they really need to move. But unpublished fares cannot be advertised on social media either. They cannot be listed publicly. You have to have a relationship with an advisor to even know that they exist. Again, cruise lines enforce these aggressively.
Yeah, we want to be real careful here because we're not saying that every advisor has group rates or unpublished fares for every sailing. Yeah. They don't. But advisors who specialize in cruising, especially advisors with elevated status on specific lines, they have access to inventory and pricing that you won't find on your own. That's not marketing. That's just the way the system works.
And this is why the question, is it cheaper to book direct, has an honest answer that surprises people. Sometimes the advisor's price is the same as a direct price. Sometimes it's lower. And sometimes it's the same price, but it comes with onboard credit or a free specialty dinner that the direct booking doesn't include. The commission is already in the fare. It's the advisor's choice to decide how much of it to pass back to you. And by the way, any onboard credit or perk from the advisor back to you is also capped by the cruise line contract. More on that in a minute. Now there's a third advisor avenue worth mentioning, and that's the bidding sites. An example would be cruisecompete.com, where you can input a specific cruise you wish to take, and many independent cruise specialists and agencies bid on your business. They're basically taking a portion of their commission and offering it back to you in benefits like onboard credits, free gratuities, and so on in return for your business. But remember, they still can't give back more than the contractual cap that the cruise line dictates.
Yeah, we did this exactly once, and months later we had a question. We tried calling, and our rep had left the company, so we were kind of on our own to just wing it. That's not the kind of experience that we like to have. Coming up next, not all advisors are equal, and there's a reason some of them will charge you a fee.
So as we mentioned, the cruise line caps the amount of benefits an advisor can return back to you. And when an advisor hits that ceiling, which happens more on lower commission mass market lines, some of them have to charge a planning fee. It's not a ripoff, it's a structural reality. But let me give you an example. If the cruise line caps the perks the advisor can give you at $200 and the advisor commission is $300, they could give you back the $200 and keep the $100 as their fare. But if they've spent 4 hours researching your itinerary, comparing cabin categories, and coordinating shore excursions, that $100 doesn't cover their time. So they might charge a planning fee, and those vary.
Yeah, now here's where it gets even more interesting. There are different levels of travel advisors, and the level matters.
So at the base level, you have agents who sell through a host agency. They might be relatively new. They have access to commission, but the host agency is going to take a cut. Our research shows about 30%, sometimes less if they buy it down. So remember that when doing the math on what they can actually afford to give back to you, they may not have elevated status with any specific cruise line. They're learning. That's fine. Everyone has to start somewhere. But if you're booking a $10,000 luxury sailing, you probably don't want someone who's learning on your dime. Then you have experienced independent advisors who've built direct relationships with specific lines. They've hit sales thresholds that give them elevated status. Priority access windows, access to group inventory, direct phone numbers to cruise line executives. If you see that an advisor, as an example, is a Viking top producer or Oceania Connoisseur Club agency as examples, that means they book enough volume with that line to have perks and access that some advisors don't. And then there are consortiums. So we're going to keep this brief because it can get even more complicated. A consortium is a network of independent agencies that pool their volume to get better perks and pricing from travel suppliers. Some of the names you might see: Virtuoso, Signature Travel Network, Travel Leaders, to name a few. Here's the signal you need. If you see these names next to an advisor's name, that's typically a quality indicator. It means they have access to perks and pricing that some other agencies don't. You don't need to know what each consortium does. You just need to know it's a good sign. Now let me share a real world example. We need to talk about how travel advisors actually get paid, because there is a massive myth out there that they are rolling in cash from your booking and can just hand out massive overzealous perks or credits. Let's look at a real example based on double occupancy. Say you and your partner book a premium cruise on Oceania for $3,500 per person. That's a total cabin price of $7,000. You might think, hey, if my advisor is at the top tier earning a 17% commission, they're making nearly $1,200 on our room. They can easily afford to buy us a specialty dinner. Except they aren't making $1,200. Cruise lines use a sneaky term called NCF, or non-commissionable fare. Before they calculate the agent's cut, the cruise line strips out the port taxes, which are about $500 for two people, and then they slice out an arbitrary chunk of the fare itself. In this case, $1,400 for things like operational costs. Suddenly, that $7,000 cabin shrinks to a commissionable base of just $5,100. At 17%, the cruise line pays out $867. But remember those host agencies we talked about? Most independent agents have to split that check. If they're on the typical 70-30 split, the agent only walks away with $606.90. Out of a $7,000 cruise, your advisor's actual take-home is an effective rate of just 8.6%. And it gets even tighter if you're booking a mass market line like Royal Caribbean, Carnival, or NCL. The NCFs on those lines make up a much bigger percentage of your ticket, and many independent agents haven't hit that 17% max tier yet. They're earning a 10% starter rate. On a mass market cabin total of $3,000 for two people, after the cruise line strips out the heavy NCFs, they only pay the 10% commission on about $1,600. That is a total commission of $160. But after the agent gives 30% of that to their host agency, they're left with exactly $112. For two people, that is an effective commission rate of just 3.7%. When you ask an advisor making $112 to spend hours planning your trip, managing your dining choices, or sitting on hold with a cruise line to fix a booking mistake, and then you expect a free bottle of wine or a pile of onboard credit, you can see why the math just doesn't work. They aren't hoarding a massive profit margin. They are literally working for pennies on the hour sometimes.
Yeah, so stay with us on that. The takeaway is simple. For a mass market cruise, any competent advisor or high volume agency should do. For a premium luxury line, you want an advisor with a direct relationship or elevated status with that line. It's not snobbery, it's just economics.
Yeah. Now let's talk about path 3, the high volume agency. This includes companies like Costco Travel, Cruises.com, VacationsToGo, among others. The model is the same, even if the brand names are different. They run on volume, big volume, and rebate some of their commissions back to you.
But the model inside this category are actually quite different, and it's worth understanding the distinction.
So a Costco rep, for example, does not earn commission. They're paid a decent wage and benefits, actually, but they don't have clients per se. When you call in, you get the next available rep. Most of what Costco earns in commissions goes back to the consumer as a rebate card. So there's not much to distribute to those sales reps anyway. VacationsToGo is another beast entirely. They have such a massive inbound calling queue based on their marketing that reps are 100% commission based. They require a login to see their pricing, so this is how they garner leads for their reps. It's a pressure cooker environment until you earn repeat customers and can build your own book of return customers, so there tends to be a higher turnover here. So the high volume agency model is pretty straightforward. You may give up personalized service or a dedicated advisor who knows your preferences, but in exchange, you're getting a financial return, usually onboard credit or a cashback gift card like Costco offers. The booking is typically handled by whichever rep is available when you call in.
Yeah, so this is the right call for a straightforward booking on a mass market line
Mm-hmm.
where you don't really need any help. If you already know what ship you want to sail on and your main priority is getting money back on that $2,000 Caribbean cruise, this might be the path for you.
But here's the thing, depending on how you travel, the personalized service might matter more to you than a $100 rebate card. If something goes wrong, a misconnection, a schedule change, a cabin issue, you're usually calling a general customer service line, not someone who knows your name.
And that difference explains a lot about the kind of service you'll get depending on which line you're booking with.
And here's where the volume pressure comes in. An advisor who primarily sells mass market lines has to do a lot more volume to earn the same income as someone selling luxury, of course, right? This means, though, less time per client, faster bookings, less hand-holding. It's not that they don't care, it's that the economics don't typically allow for the kind of detailed service that a luxury advisor can provide.
That's not a design flaw, it's just reality of how the commission economics work. And it's worth factoring in when you're choosing which line to book with. Now here's one more thing that many cruisers don't know. You can usually book direct and transfer your booking to a travel advisor.
So this is called a booking transfer, and most cruise lines allow it within a specific window of time, typically 30 days from the original booking, but it varies by line. But here's how it works. You book direct to lock in a promotion or a specific cabin, then you contact an advisor and ask them to take over the booking. The cruise line transfers the reservation to the advisor, and now the commission flows to them, and they can offer you onboard credit or perks that weren't available on the direct booking. Many times we do this while booking a cruise on board to gain the additional onboard booking bonuses like Cruise Next. Then we transfer that booking to our advisor within the transfer window. You get the direct booking benefit and the advisor perks. We want to be careful here. The rules vary by line. Some lines don't allow transfers of certain fare types. Some lines have shortened the windows that you can transfer in recent years. And some advisors won't accept transfers because the economics don't work for them. If you're booking your next cruise while on board, many times the cruise line will just let you indicate your preferred travel advisor right then and there.
But if you've already booked direct and you're wondering whether you can still get advisor perks, the answer is often yes. You just have to ask. So here's the honest answer to the question that brought you here.
So choose to book direct if you already know exactly what you want. You sail the same line, you know the ship, the sailing, the cabin. You don't need someone to compare options across lines. You're comfortable being your own advocate. If something goes wrong, the commission stays with the cruise versus you or a travel advisor. Choose a high volume agency though, like Costco Travel, cruises.com, VacationsToGo, if your priority is getting some money back. You'll usually get a rebate on the commission, sometimes in the form of onboard credit or cashback gift card like Costco. The trade-off is typically less personalized service. This is the right call for straightforward bookings on mass market lines where you don't need a lot of consultative help. But choose an independent travel advisor if you're booking a premium or luxury cruise, if you want someone to compare across lines, if you want access to group rates, unpublished fares cannot find online, and if you want an advocate when things go wrong. For luxury lines like Oceania, Regent, Viking, Explorer, find an advisor with elevated status and a direct relationship with that line. That status gets you perks, pricing, and rebates you typically cannot access on your own.
And remember, the commission is already in the fare. The question is who gets the service it pays for. Book direct and the cruise line keeps it. Use an advisor and it goes to someone that's actually working for you.
One other quick note, we have found that booking early with lines that allow you to reprice if pricing changes is the very best strategy, especially if you pay close attention to the cancellation timeline and penalties. This video is a direct result of a viewer's question, so thank you for that. Do you have any burning topics we can research for you? Let us know. As always, if we have missed anything or you have additional insights that are helpful to this community, please take a moment and add your comment. It helps us all.
Yeah, drop a comment. Tell us which booking path you used, direct, high volume, or independent advisor. We read every single one of them and they're helpful for the rest of the community.
If you like our data-driven and detailed approach, give us a subscribe. And if you're planning a luxury cruise, check out our comparisons of the NCL Haven, the Celebrity Retreat, and Oceania. We've sailed all three recently.
Details, not drama. See you then.
Safe travels, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.